What you doing? Seriously, what are you doing?
Studying, and you should be too.
Why?
Because this stuff is important?
I already know all the important stuff.
Okay. Where did the siege of Vicksburg take place then?
Vicksburg.
Try Warren County, Mississippi. Have you even looked at the material from the siege of Vicksburg?
Yeah.
Dude, it's on the test tomorrow.
What test are you talking about?
The test on the siege of Vicksburg. It's been on the board for like a week. Do you even know what time frame this battle took place in?
Yeah. May 18th to July 4th, 1863.
Wow, that's actually right.
Yeah, it's the same year as Columbus found America.
What are you talking about?
You know how the rhyme goes? In 1863, Columbus sailed the ocean sea.
What about the name John C. Pemberton? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, he's like a famous singer.
Close. He was a general.
Yeah, I was just thinking of the other John guy.
Right. Anyways, do you remember which side he fought for?
Yeah, the American side.
Well, yeah. But if you wanted to be more specific, he was the leader of the Confederate Army.
You mean like the sugar?
Okay. I'm gonna go get some studying done. You should probably do the same. Dude! Did you get any studying done?
Yeah, I casually glanced at my textbook while texting.
This textbook is upside down. And it's a math textbook.
I like to challenge myself.
That doesn't make any sense. Anyways, do you have any idea how many casualties happened in the siege? Let's try something a little simpler. Any idea how many casualties were on the Union side?
4.
Try something a little closer to 4,835.
Right. You just didn't let me finish.
What about on the Confederate side? 1,000. Close. 3,202 were casualties, but then they had 29,495 people captured.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it is.
What did they do wrong?
Well, they didn't do a lot wrong, actually. Not at first, at least. A lot of the mistakes were made on the Union side.
What do you mean?
Well, Grant, otherwise known as Ulysses S. Grant, the leader of the Union Army at the time, took his army and crossed the Mississippi River, forcing Pemberton's army into Vicksburg, Mississippi.
MISSISSIPPI.
Yeah. Well, anyways, once they had the Confederate army surrounded, the Union launched 2 brutal attacks on them. However, both of them were failures. They had one attack on May 19th and one on May 22nd. The one on May 19th, there were 157 deaths on the Union side. We're talking dead, gone, game over for them. Then they also had 777 people wounded and 8 missing. The Confederate only had 8 killed and 62 wounded.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, that is. The one on May 22nd, the reason it was a failure was mainly due to the fact that there was a 6-foot ditch and a 17-foot high wall surrounding the area. Well, the 50,000 soldiers that the Union Army had were not enough to surround the 12-mile perimeter. So on June 14th, John G. Parke brought reinforcements, and then their numbers were bumped up to 77,000. Whoa. Yeah. The Union kept the Confederate soldiers under constant fire, and since the shelter wasn't all that great in Vicksburg, they had to dig like caves and tunnels to hide in. It was pretty intense.
Caves?
Yeah, caves. Like, they would dig caves in the clay that made up Vicksburg. And on July 3rd, they'd had enough. Pemberton sent a request to surrender to Grant's army. Now, initially, Grant wanted a unconditional surrender, which basically meant that they completely surrendered themselves as a whole to the Union Army. But then he decided against that because he didn't want their 30,000 Confederate soldiers in their prison camps eating their food and taking their resources. So, the Confederate, like I said, didn't really do a lot wrong. The Union just had so many people that in the end, there really wasn't any way for them to win. So yeah, it was a Union victory.
And that's good, right?
Well, I mean, it is kind of good for the way that things planned out, because of this Union victory, it helped them win future wars, which in the end helped the entire United States to reform together.
Thanks for giving me the answers.
But that's... No, you don't that's